Tonight, we're learning new information about multiple dangerous incidents in our community. A shooting in Madison and an armed suspect in Monona both ended with suspects in custody. And police say the same thing made the difference: community members who spoke up. WMTV's Ashley Wheel met with both departments to learn more about the response. Ashley, what did you learn?
8 minutes. That's how long it took Madison police to arrest the suspect accused of shooting a man on the city's north side. And just 15 minutes away in Monona, police are thankful for their training after a routine call turned violent.
These conflicts can bubble up to a point where, an act of violence occurs within minutes.
From a 54-year-old shot in the abdomen to a suspicious person armed and attacking officers, police have to be ready for anything.
8 minutes of responding to a call, treating a victim, talking to witnesses, we were able to get a suspect into custody, and that suspect was booked in on those intentional attempted homicide charges last night.
Madison police responded fast after a shooting on the city's north side on Sunday.
They talked to multiple people who were in the area. They were able to identify a suspect pretty quickly based off the information that they received.
They say the community played a big role in identifying the suspect. In Monona, it also started with someone paying attention. A witness spotted a masked man checking car door handles in a covered parking garage and called police.
They see something, they're saying something, and getting law enforcement involved early.
The suspect then kicked an officer in the face and allegedly tried to bite them, resisting arrest.
A pretty, low risk call can easily turn into, a dangerous call for law enforcement in the community.
Monona police say they are trained to try and resolve these situations safely.
Our #1 goal is to make sure officers go home safe and that the community is safe.
It's a message Madison police say they want the whole community to hear.
We just really want to get involved, help ease tensions when we can early on, so that way we don't have to have, stabbing victims, gunshot victims, and those types of crimes occurring in our community.
Both incidents happened as the region heads into summer, historically a busier season for law enforcement. Madison police did say today that in their latest report, shots fired incidents are down 39% this year compared to last. Reporting live in studio, Ashley Wheel, WMTV 15 News.
Ashley, thanks. We also learned new today that the victim in the Madison shooting is now in stable condition after having serious injuries.